They talking look, but it goes that shit, shots make it get back. All that chit-chat, rip-rap, my niggas digging in that. Nigga fucking up and he ain't no shit. I got like 50 rounds of 50 clips. And now with you, nigga, I was the fifth. Mommy still gon' love a kid, niggas tryna like it, give me a stick. I'm like, nigga, fucking the judge like, why you acting like a dick? I said I'm moving like I'm thinking dick. Lawyer like, fuck me while you racing. I said I'm a breaking full of lace. Shit for the stars, I'm a foundation. Look at the money I'm raising.
As basketball fans, we often think about what the most fun we've had while watching the NBA was. For a lot of people, that was the 2019 Brooklyn Nets. They just possessed a swagger and charisma that no team at the time could match. For a lot of people, D'Angelo Russell was their favorite player, as he was downright one of the coldest players in the league that season. But the NBA is a forever changing landscape, and the Brooklyn Nets are a product of that. They look nothing like the Nets of 2019 now. So in this video, we will be going over what happened to the starting five of the 2019 Brooklyn Nets. 2019 at point guard, the Brooklyn Nets had D'Angelo Russell. After being named an All-Star in 2019, D'Lo was set to become a restricted free agent that summer. In that offseason, he was involved in a sign-in trade for Kevin Durant, meaning that D'Lo was sent down to play in the Bay with Golden State. Halfway through the 2020 season, however, he was again traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Andrew Wiggins. The Wolves also had to give up their 2021 first-round pick, which did not turn out well for them, as the Warriors now have it. D'Lo battled through injury, but when he was on the floor with Cat, he absolutely balled out. In 2021, he battled through tons of injuries yet again, but when he played, he was an absolute baller. D'Lo hasn't made an all-star team since 2019, but the future is still certainly bright for the young point guard, and everyone is rooting for him. In 2019, as shooting guard, the Nets had Caris LeVert. Caris LeVert struggled with injuries all throughout 2019, but in that offseason he was extended for 4 years to remain with the Brooklyn Nets. In 2020, he saw huge strides towards his development and looked like a future star player. But by the time 2021 came along, he was involved in the huge James Harden trade, which sent him to the Indiana Pacers. However, when he arrived in Indiana, it was found out that Caris had a tumor in his kidney. Luckily, everything was sorted out, and Caris was able to play a decent amount of games for the Indiana Pacers. He absolutely balled out in 2021, and looks like an absolute stud for the Pacers. I'm really happy for the guy. 2019 at small forward, the Nets had Joe Harris. In 2019, Joe Harris led the league in three-point percentage, and solidified himself as a premier shooter in the league. To this day, Joe Harris still plays with the Brooklyn Nets in hopes of winning a championship alongside their Big Three. Joe Harris has solidified himself as one of the best conserved three-point shooters in the league, even if he is a bit streaky in the playoffs. Let's not send him to Shanghai just yet, he's still got a lot more to do. At power forward, the 2019 Nets had Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson struggled in 2019 for the Nets. When it came to his unrestricted free agency that summer, it took him quite a long time to find a team. But he would eventually sign with the reigning champion Toronto Raptors. He played less than spectacularly with the Raptors, and was yet again a free agent in 2020. He signed with the Timberwolves that offseason, but was cut during preseason due to lackluster play. Rondae signed with the Blazers halfway through the season, and was quite bad. It's going to be a hard time for Rondae to make a roster this season, but I truly am rooting for him. He showed a lot of potential in 2018, averaging 13 points, but it just hasn't worked out for him. I'm not going to lie. In 2019 at center, the Nets had Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen was seen as one of the premier young centers in 2019. He remained with the team in 2020 and continued his development alongside Kyrie Irving. But in 2021, Allen was involved in the James Harden trade alongside Caris LeVert, and he was shipped off to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs truly have a diamond in the rough with Allen on their team, and plan to use him as a key piece on their team in the time to come. He'll be a great player for their rebuild, and I hope that he does so well, because he is honestly really fun to watch. In summary, despite their playoff shortcomings, the Nets were a truly awesome team. They played with a lot of character, and it was always a treat when Nets games were on because you knew you were going to get something interesting. All in all, the Nets are a completely different team nowadays, and a completely different identity too. And I think it's hard to top the bench mob dances that 2019 gave us. Those are pretty fun. Thank you for watching, and consider subscribing, because more of these videos will probably come. They're pretty fun to make. That's all.